trying to set things up here. All right. Should be good now. Yes, we are. We are good now. All right. All right. Good. Welcome to Global Internet Fortunes and welcome to this tutorial whose aim is to equip you with the necessary knowledge and skills to customize and build your website. By the time you're watching this video, I assume you've already received your ready-made website, and now it's time to customize it to make it look exactly how you'd like it to. And so you're making this tutorial to help you do that at the comfort of your home or your desk, wherever you are, so you're able to do that on your own without wondering who is there to help you out. So have a notebook and a pen, of course. Write some notes. The beauty of watching this video online on YouTube, and I assume you're watching this on YouTube, is that you're in a position to pause when you want to and take some notes, then come back and proceed. So it becomes very easy, and that's why I love tutorials. In fact, I'll tell you for sure, even though, and I'll mention that in my story briefly, even though I am a computer science professional, I didn't learn about website customization, especially WordPress website customization in class. I did not. I learned that through YouTube. So YouTube is such a huge source of knowledge, and if you use it the right way with such videos like the one you're watching tonight or today, you're gonna be very successful in your online marketing career. Of course, ensure you're in a quiet place. These are some of the things you need to check before you start watching this. But I can assure you, by the end of this 3-part series, so this is part 1 of a 3-part series tutorial that will leave you with all the knowledge and skills you require to build your website and to build websites for other people. That's exciting enough, I know. And therefore, with that, let's kick off an introduction, a brief introduction of myself. I started doing what I'm talking about today around four years ago. After joining GIF, that was briefly after joining campus. First year was not doing much in campus, but by the second year I needed to find a way to make some money on the side, and that's how I came across Global Internet Fortunes, and the rest is history. Of course, I came across blogging and website as it was introduced as a product, I think a year or two later. And since then, I've fallen in love with the topic of blogging and websites and online marketing, that I don't think I'll ever leave the passion that I have for blogging and websites and online marketing generally. So that's briefly who I am, and I'll be taking you through this tutorial. As I said, it's a 3-part series. The first part is to equip you with the necessary knowledge. Second part about the skills, doing it practically, and the third part also part of the practical part. So let's begin. Do not jump any of these slides. Do not move forward and jump part of the video. Every single slide of this video is important. So first and foremost, let's understand who GIF is, the company you just joined. And GIF can be defined, or should be defined, as a web hosting and online marketing company that sells its services through the concept of direct selling and network marketing. Web hosting and online marketing could be new terms to you, but direct selling and network marketing are pretty familiar. And we have many other forums to discuss network marketing, so I won't go into that today. But at least in today's meeting, we'll talk much about web hosting and online marketing. What we sell, including, among others, we have domains, blogs and websites, web design training, general web design training, and then we have web hosting, online marketing training, e-commerce, and network marketing. So these are, you could call these our services, but the signature product happens to be blogs and websites, and that is brought together through domains and web hosting. When those two come together, they form a website or a blog. The difference is not that big, but I'll explain later also so you understand the big difference between the two. First and foremost is that we need to understand what is a domain, because that's the least the least part to begin from, the lowest we can begin from, understanding what a domain is. And a domain can be defined as the address that people type into a browser address bar to find your websites. The browser address bar is what appears when you open a browser, and a browser is a software you use to access the web. A good example would be Google Chrome. We have Phoenix, if I'm pronouncing it right. We have Edge. We have many others. There are several that you can use, but Google Chrome and Opera Mini are some of the most common. Google Chrome is strong enough because it's a product of Google, and so it's the most recommended. For the domains we sell at GIF, if you want to go for a .ke domain, it goes for $10 only per year, or for your first year. The generic domains, which include the .com, .biz, .org, and many other extensions, go for $15. What that means, in the package that you buy at GIF, the $10 is included in that package. So if you're choosing a .ke domain, you don't need to add extra money. But if you go for a .com, .biz, or any of the other generic domains, you pay an extra $5. All right. So it's important to know that. I know the people watching this video, you who is watching this video, you most likely have already registered your domain as maybe a .ke or a .com. So this information is for future use. When you have someone getting on board, advise them accordingly. Also, let them know that you cannot edit a domain name once it's been registered. So advise your people accordingly. Do not be in a rush for them to register a domain. Let them take time to think through the options available and choose the right name for their domain, because they can't edit it later. They can't decide after 2 months or after 2 weeks they want to change their domain. So you want them advised accordingly. Some of the examples of domain extensions include .com, .org, .gov, .co.k, .me.k, .ac.k, .edu, .net, and many others. Each of these represents a given or given type of businesses. For example, for commercial businesses, .com and .co.k are the most common. For organizations, .org. For government institutions, .gov. And some of these extensions will require you to provide supporting documents before you can register them. For example, you can't just register .gov extension. You need to provide proof that you are registering a domain for a government agency. Again, this is information for future use. How do you check if your domain has been registered? Again, this is important for you and for your future customers, potential customers. We have a software or a website called whois.com. That's the website we use to check if your domain has been registered, or simply to check the status of your website or of your domain registration. So head over to whois.com, www.whois.com, click the search bar at the top right hand side, enter your domain name, for example camilasconjala.me.k. If your domain name is mutiaevans.co.k like mine, head there and type that, then click the search icon and you'll get all the details about your website. If it's registered already, you'll find who has registered it, who we also call the registrar, the registry, and all the other information you require to know. If it's not registered, you'll be notified that your website or your domain name is available for registration. If that's the case, you need to follow up with your inviter or your upline, or write a ticket to the company and you'll be assisted accordingly. Another important note is that you need to choose a short and professional domain name for your use, or you advise your customers to do the same, because the shorter the better. The purpose of having a domain name is to have an address that is memorable. So if you choose a long username that is so complicated or a long domain name that is very hard to memorize, you're losing the whole point of having a domain. Some terms here that are very important before we go any further that you need to understand. One is a website, and a website is simply a set of related web pages and a single domain name. A similar example would be a book. Every book has a title, and that book is known by that title. Even though we have different books, different pages with different topics in that book is known by the name of the book. So our website is similar to a book. We have related content put together in a single domain. We call that a website. Web hosting is the activity of storing that providing that storage space, and this is similar to the different other hosts. And one of the reasons I really like the topic of online marketing and website customization is because most of the words are borrowed, so you don't have to struggle to memorize some of these terms. For example, web host, just like we have hosts in our ordinary lives, someone providing some space for you or some storage for you. When we come to web hosting, is simply storage online. So every content you see on the internet today is stored somewhere, and that company that is providing that storage space is called a web host. And the process of providing that storage space is what we call web hosting. All right, and that storage is in a server, and a server is a huge or a computer with huge powers that can store a lot of space, a lot of content, and it's very expensive to run, maintain, and also buy or acquire. Some of the reasons for having a website, this is to encourage you to build your website, is first for branding and business credibility. Today, if you do not have a website as an individual or as a company or as a business, I don't think you're credible no matter how hard you try. People research about you online before they ask even their friends. The first stop is on Google, and they need to find you. If they do not find you, someone else will provide that information, and that's how you lose them, because they don't think you're credible anymore. So you can't consider yourself a serious individual or a serious business person if you do not have a well-branded, well-built website today. You can also use your website to expand your market and reach. It also marks as an online market. You use it to store information and data. I love this one, especially data for your customers and generally about your business. You'll be surprised that Jumia, which is an e-commerce business in Africa, has data about you, about all their customers that have ever purchased or made an order through their website. Just imagine that. Not so many businesses that are not online can proudly tell you they know who their customers are. They do not even remember their names. But when you go on Jumia, they remember every single customer, the sale, the purchase they made, when they bought the item, the much they paid, and so much more. That's one of the benefits of having a website. You can also use it to make money, and there are many ways to make money using a website. That's a topic for another day, a totally new video that I'll do someday in the future. You also use it for advertising, to showcase your work, and also for interaction, to improve interaction with your customer and receive feedback, which is very important for your business. These are just some of the top reasons on top of my head. There are many others. So having a website gives you a lot of benefits today. It's 2022, guys. Or if you're watching this video in 2023, 2025, then just know it's time to have that website and have it doing exactly what you want it to do. We have different types of websites. There are many, but the three major ones include blogs, which are informational pages. Example, being tuko.co.ke. We have corporate sites. These are sites for corporations. A big business would have a corporate site, like your bank, like your lawyer, like your dentist, your doctor. somewhere you can go see more about the business and book appointments and request for download some items. You know what I'm saying. Then we have the e-commerce site, the third most common type of a website, which refers to an online store that allows you to take online payments for product and services. Example being jumia.co.k. Another example would be amazon.com, which is the biggest e-commerce or e-commerce website in the world today. Let's talk about some principles that make a good web design. This is your scorecard. This is what you consider as you create your website. All right. So consider these factors. One of them being, yes, we have many. One of them being your website purpose. But allow me mention something before then, that an effective website design should fulfill its intended function by, of course, conveying its particular message while simultaneously engaging the visitor. We have many factors that contribute to that, including consistency, colors, typography, imagery, simplicity, and functionality. All those put together, they form a good website. So as you create your website, have these in mind. One, what's the purpose of your website? Because your website needs to accommodate the needs of the user, not your needs, the needs of the user. Who do you intend to welcome to your website? Just like for a developer, okay, a real estate developer, they do not just think about themselves. They think about the person they intend to sell the houses to, or the client, the owner of that building. So do not just think about yourself who is creating the website. In fact, you should not think about you. Think about the users, unless you put yourself as one of those users. And there are many different purposes, including describing expertise. That's for professionals. Building a reputation. If you're a politician, you do not want your story told by someone else. You want to tell it yourself. For generating leads, sales and aftercare, and so many others. This is just a guideline. I'm not here to give you all the information, but to give you a guideline so you can understand what we're saying. Number two is simplicity, and it's the best way to go when considering the user experience and the usability of your website. Making it complicated doesn't make it better. The easier it is, the better. This includes colors, type, and imagery. For example, having too many colors on your website loses the colorfulness, loses the meaning. So choose 2 or 3 brand colors and then play with those 3 colors to make your website presentable. The type, the font type, the images you share on your website, all that. Make it simple, guys. Make it simple. It's like fashion. The simpler you do it, the better. When you try and have every accessory on you, I mean, you look like a clown. You don't want to do that. Make it simple but appealing at the same time. Number 3 is navigation. Again, no one will spend hours on your website trying to find content. Make it easy, okay? Yes, make it simple, intuitive, and consistent on every page. That means when I'm on your About Me page, I'm able to get back to your home page. I'm able to go to your Contact Me page and so many other pages. So make sure your navigation, your wayfinding system of your website is simple enough and allows customers to interact with your website in an easy way, and have it organized. Have it organized. There's a reason when you go to everyone's house, they have different sections in their house. They have a sitting room, they have a dining area, they have the kitchen, to just keep things organized. And you know, when you need a knife, you do not go to the bedroom, you go to the kitchen. All right? So do the same. Make sure there are sections on your website that allows you to reach different sections of your website easily. Consider also the F-shaped pattern reading because this is the most common way visitors scan text on a website. As soon as someone lands on your page, on your website, what they see first is what is on the top right hand side. So consider that and have on the top left hand side, sorry, the F shape, top left hand side. And that means you should have the most important content over there, okay? Because that layout mimics the natural pattern of reading in the West. That is left to right and top to bottom. You don't start reading text from the bottom to the top. Neither do you start from left to right unless you're Chinese. And I don't think the people watching this video are Chinese. Not many of them would understand what I'm saying. An effective design website will work with a reader's natural pattern of scanning the page naturally without struggling. Yes, sometimes people can remember where they saw an item. I remember when I was in campus, some of the units we were taking, we didn't want to memorize them, and so we'd scan through pages before an exam room. And by the time you sit in an exam room, you can remember exactly where you saw and what you saw, and that's what you write. After the exam, you delete your memory, as we used to do it, to say it. Yes, and it was very easy, and it's human nature to do that, to scan text. All right, and after that you can format. We used to call the idea formatting your memory, and you forget about everything. Visual hierarchy, which is the arrangement of elements in order of importance. Do not start with the least important and then end with the most important. No. Okay, this is done by either size, color, imagery, contrast, typography, white space, texture, and style. Okay, one of the most common functions of visual hierarchy is to establish a focal point. That's so important. Right now, you've seen the visual hierarchy headline as the first item on this slide because I have highlighted it and put it at the very top and made it bigger in terms of the font size. So I've created a focal point so that if you forget about everything else in this slide, you remember visual hierarchy. Next is content, very important. All right, content, because there is no website without content. So a good website has both great design and great content. Do not say you have a great design now you forget about content. In fact, it's better to have great content and miss good design, not the other way around. Remember to use compelling language because great content can attract and influence people by converting them into customers. So if you do not know how to do great content, again, invest in learning about it. Next is grid-based layout. Most websites come already with that. So as you consider the template that you're going to use on your website, make sure it's grid-based. It means there are some grids, and that helps to structure your design and keep your content organized. I told you about the kitchen, the bathroom, the sitting room, the dining room. Every designer, okay, every real estate developer understands all these aspects, and so he is able to include them and arrange them in a way that if someone walks into the room as a stranger, within seconds they can tell where the kitchen is, where the dining room is, and everything else. That's grid-based layout. Then load time, make sure it's as fast as it can get because no one wants to wait for a website to load for more than 2 to 3 seconds. They want to do it in 2 seconds or less. Others will leave and go get the information from somewhere else. Remember, most of your visitors come from search. Okay? So they are searching for information that you've written about, and that means you have many other people who have done the same. Google has only ranked you higher because they believe you're providing more value than the rest. But leaving your website to get to the next person is this fast. And if you give your people a reason to do so, they will. So avoid a slow website by optimizing your image sizes and avoiding uploading your videos directly to your website. Instead, upload them on YouTube. Then you can embed them. Okay, you can attach them on your content on your blog, and also avoid too many what do we call them, plugins on your website. Only have those that you so badly require. The rest, just leave them. Just leave them. If you do not need it, avoid it. the lesser of the softwares you have on your website, the faster your website is. Mobile friendliness, it's 2022, depending on when you're watching this. But if you're watching this anywhere after 2020, it means today most people access their websites or access websites using their mobile handheld gadgets. Therefore, your website should be mobile friendly. Yes, because they do not use machines every single time or PCs. Okay, so make sure your website template or your website theme is mobile phone responsive, and you do that by testing. Do not believe what they tell you. Go test your website after you create it, or as you create it, have it open on both a PC and a mobile gadget, and so you can check how it appears on PC as well as how it appears on mobile. There are many important parts of our website, but these are the most important that any website should not miss. One is a logo, note that down. We have a header, a slider, pages, menus or menu. You can have one is enough, but if your website is large enough, you can have several: primary, secondary, favicon, which is the favorite icon. Then the footer part of your website, you store a lot of information there, and you'll understand most of the things when you do it practically. Then you have the contact form, which is very important, where you give the readers, the visitors, a chance to reach you as the admin of the website. Before we go any further, these are some of the mistakes to avoid. These are the beginner mistakes that bloggers make. So avoid them as much as you can. They are very few and very straightforward, but avoid them. One is writing without defining your target audience and a blogging strategy. You can't do that. Start by defining, who are you writing for? Are they the young people? Are they the young mothers? Are they the young fathers? Are they the older generation? Are they who are you talking to? Students? Is your website about fresh graduates? It's your website or your blog about what, stay-at-home moms? Whatever it is, define that target audience. Before you do that, do not even start writing. Once you've defined it, go ahead and have a blogging strategy. How are you going to write the stories? Just assuming you'll wake up one day feeling like writing and then write, and when you do not write, it's okay. That's not right. Decide on a strategy you're going to use. Number 2 is not creating a contact list. You need a contact list for your blog so that you can keep in touch with those people. You need their feedback, and you need to be in a position to reach them whenever you create new content, so you're able to get feedback from them and also get them to read your story. So create a list. Today it's easy to even do it on WhatsApp. You can have a broadcast list. You can have several on WhatsApp, and you're able to work with that. Next is not creating an editorial calendar or sticking to a schedule. And I mentioned that with the first point. You need to have a calendar. You need to decide how often are you going to be creating your content and stick to it. So if you agree it's every month, you do it every month. I don't think it would be a good idea to choose a month. Let's say a week, a post a week minimum, a post or 2 posts a week. Then stick to it. If it's Monday 9 a.m., every Monday 9 a.m., post some content so that your readers know every Monday 9 a.m. I'll find content from Evans Mutia website, and so they're able to find you like that. That consistency is very important. Next is self-indulgence in the name of storytelling. Remember, you're not writing for yourself, so forget about yourself. You're creating content for other people. So don't forget about that and self-indulge in yourself and having fun. No, you're telling a story. Okay, you are a journalist. When a journalist stands to report, they forget about themselves for a moment, and all they tell is the story, other people's stories. Next is relying on search engine optimization, that's SEO, or social media optimization, as your magic wands of traffic. I know this could be another term also, and I'll do another video on SEO, how to optimize your website. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and keep checking I'll do that video in the coming days on search engine optimization, and also how to use the social media platforms to grow and market your website or your blog. But do not rely on those two. All right? Yes, because sometimes your SEO strategies will not be working, or social media will not work because of one reason or the other. Remember, you do not have full control of these two, and therefore you can't rely on them 100%. Next is that you think a value adding high quality content will open all the floodgates of traffic to your website. Sometimes you invest a lot of money in creating one content, thinking this is all you need. It's like a music video that you invested so much on, thinking it will be that good video, and then it doesn't work as you wished. Then there's this other video that you didn't even invest on, or these other contents you didn't invest in, and that's what shines. So do not bring emotions into it. Just create content. Create content as often as you've agreed to do it, and the rest will take care of itself. Next is not implementing persuasive copywriting techniques in your writing. You need that. As a writer, you need to implement persuasive copywriting techniques. You can't avoid that. I know sometimes we really want to be in the middle and not take sides, and that sometimes confuses us whether we want to persuade people. But yeah, when you're writing, you need to persuade people, and you need to learn about those techniques. You can learn that on YouTube. I'll also do a video on this, so keep coming back to this channel, and you'll find a video on copywriting techniques that you can use on when it comes to creating your content. Next is publishing many small short blog posts every now and then and thinking you're doing well. It's not about the number, it's about the quality. If all you can do, the best you can do is one post per month of good quality, then it's better than doing 10 of them every other month that are not of good quality. But remember, the more you do, the better. So if you need help, seek for the help and do more quality content. Next is getting slapped with legal lawsuits. Avoid using improper copyrighted image attributions, or simply avoid using content that you do not have the permission to do so, unless you do, or unless it's your own content. Do not go and pick images and videos and text from other websites and paste them on your blog. You don't want to do that. One, you'll lose out a lot on search engine optimization, but also you might be slapped with legal lawsuits that will cost you a lot of money. You do not want to get there. Next is starting a free blog to avoid technical hassles. Most of you watching this video, I know this doesn't bother you because you already have a website. But if you happen to just come across this video to learn about blogging and website design, then I advise you to not start as a free blogger or start a free blog. You'll want to make it a professional blog at some point, and you lose a lot. You lose all the work you've put in. So do not start a free blog. Start a paid blog. It's very cheap to do so. It's very cheap to start a blog. All right, and now that slide brings me to the practical learning, or the practical part of this 3-part series, which will be part 2. So on part 2, just prepare you'll talk about WordPress, the WordPress dashboard, what is WordPress, and then talk about the dashboard menu and all these other items you see there. We'll talk about the settings on WordPress and do them practically. We will not just talk about them. All right, we'll be doing it practically. Categories as well, how to add a category, how to edit one, how to delete one, how to arrange categories, and so much more. Posts, media, pages, appearance, comments, and many others. All right, links, plugins, how to include them, how to add them, and how to edit them, and so much more. So just make sure you've subscribed to my channel, and then check upstairs. Check where exactly? Yes, up here or up here, not sure. Either. On my right hand side, if I'm not wrong, I will link the video there, which is part 2 of this three part series. So we will head over to part 2 to get to learn more practically and learn how to do it. All right, how to start customizing. Then part 3 will do it on phone and see how much you're able to achieve using your mobile phone gadget. But do not jump to part 3. Go to part 2, learn about how to do it on your PC, because that's where it all starts. That's where you learn the real concept of WordPress customization. So see you there. For now, remember to go and implement, because knowledge is not power. The implementation of knowledge is what we call power. So implementation is what is important. You may not have much to implement now, but at least you've taken some notes. See you in the second part, or part 2 of this series. Thank you for your attention and thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you in the next one. My name is Mutia Evans. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next one, and have yourselves a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, and a wonderful evening, depending on when you're watching this. See you in the next